Hey, beautiful people, welcome to my channel, The Far Philosopher, where we talk peace of mind, mental health, and being your best self. Hi, my beautiful people, welcome to another episode with me, Masi Nyango, also known as The Far Philosopher. And today we'll be talking about sticks and stones, but words may never hurt me. Thank you for joining me on yet another episode. If you like something, if you learn something, if I just entertain you, kindly like, share, and subscribe. It'll be much appreciated. As always, let's get right into it. So we are taking today's topic from the statement, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And of course, I disagree with this statement completely. Words are very, very hurtful, and they tend to linger longer than even actions. I'm not in any way supporting violent actions, but words tend to last so much longer in our memory and can keep hurting us the more we remember them. So today we'll just be taking this from two different angles, which is when we are the ones dishing out the very hurtful words and how we can minimize saying hurtful things to other people, even when we don't notice that we are doing so. And from the other end is when we are the ones receiving these hurtful words and how we can deal with it so that it does not affect us as much and also does not affect us for a very long period of time. So yes, let's get into it. So the first main reason why we speak hurtful things to other people is because we contain heart within us. So we are harboring feelings of anger, feelings of resentment, feelings of fear, feelings of anxiety, feelings of worry. You can only pour what is in your cup. And if I can use an actual illustration, since there's only water in this bottle of water, yes, this is water. So the only thing I can pour out of this bottle of water is water. I can't pour Coke out, I cannot pour Fanta out, I cannot pour juice out. Nothing else will come out but water. And that is the same as us as human beings. The only thing that can come out of you is what is inside you. So if you're full of fear, if you're full of anger, if you're full of resentment, if you're full of worry, that is what will come out. And most of the time it comes out as very harsh words to others. And the main thing when it comes to harboring such negative feelings is we need to do a self introspection. We need to go back to self and find out, why am I feeling this way? Why am I so angry? Why am I so hurt? Why am I so anxious? Why am I so worried? And once we do that self introspection, it will help us to deal with such feelings so that we don't project them onto other people. That is one of the main reasons why you can find yourself, or we can find ourselves, speaking harshly to others, is because we are keeping such negative feelings within us and they keep pouring out to other people. Another reasons why we might speak hurtfully or be mean in terms of words to others is because we are hurt ourselves. Either that person hurt us directly, indirectly, and we want to revenge, we want to make them feel the same way we felt. So we find ourselves speaking very harshly to this person. And the thing about this specific point is that whether they hurt us or not is very subjective. It is subjective because from their point of view, they might not feel like they hurt us. They might not feel like what they did or what they said was hurtful or was meant to hurt us. So in this case, us taking revenge by saying hurtful things comes from a very negative place. As much as we do feel hurt, retaliating by trying to also hurt this person comes from a very negative place. We should, of course, try to talk to them, find out what was the reason why they said A, B, C, and D, or did A, B, C, or D, and try to find a common ground where either they apologize or we find just a common ground to agree to disagree. But turning to hurtful words to make this person feel the way you felt is a very negative way to deal with any situation where you feel hurt. But feeling hurt is another reason why we end up using very harsh words. The other reason why we tend to say hurtful words, or we choose to use hurtful words, is because we are not okay mentally or physically. So we are physically sick, or we are not in the right state of mind, that is either going through some psychotic breakdown, substance abuse, something. So basically there's an external factor that is hindering your mind from operating at its most effective and efficient way. So in these cases, as much as we would like to blame the substance, it really does assist or make us brave enough to utter or speak in a way that is very hurtful. So if the person is going through some physical, mental breakdown, or they are on some kind of substance, or something is just not right where it should be, then they end up speaking very, very hurtful words. I am not in any way saying that it is okay to blame it on the substance, but yes, sometimes it is actually just not the person's fault. They might be trying to solve other issues using external help, and that external help is making them more aggressive, is putting them in a position where they can speak in such a very hurtful way. It also still stems from the fact that this person still is harboring very negative feelings, but the substance is helping them to articulate these feelings in a way that they would not have done if they were operating normally, if they were not going through whatever breakdown they're going through. So anytime we are not at our best physically, mentally, even spiritually, we can end up saying very, very hurtful things. Even when you're sick, even when you're just normally sick, like a cold or a flu or a stomach ache or something, you'll find that you tend to be more irritable. You tend to be highly annoyed, like you are easily triggered when you're not feeling your best. So such is the case also when you are using other substances, or when you are just going through some mental health period where you are not at your best. It is very easy to speak harshly to people. It is very easy to be very uncouth, if I can use that word. So basically, for this point, if you're on any medication, if you're going through any mental, spiritual, physical, degradation, where you need to learn, or you are learning, or you are on some medicine or something that is helping you in these situations, then you should be aware and consciously aware of how you speak to other people, how you even speak to yourself internally, so that you cannot let whatever you're going through affect the way you speak to other people, because it is very hard to take back what we say, especially when we're in a moment of weakness. So yeah, going through a mental, physical, spiritual shift can lead to someone speaking in ways that they will regret in the future, or they might just not be meaning to speak in such ways. And the last one is just a case of a vain, proud, insecure person. So their feelings at this time are either too proud or too vain or too egotistical, and they have completely taken over this person. So I can say that their ego is now running the situation. Their ego is running the story. So basically, anything that you do which makes them look lesser, or triggers their ego, triggers their insecurity, triggers their feeling of feeling lesser, will result in them talking to you in a very degrading and hurtful way. So such people are still salvageable. Yes, no one is too far gone from coming back from what they're going through. But in this case, this is someone whose ego is running the show. So it'll be very hard for them to accept or admit that they have talked to you in a very bad way. And for the most part, for such people, it is easier to just avoid them if we can. But if you are that person who has reached the level where your ego really has taken over, that you cannot see when you talk harshly to people, or you don't feel it anymore. Like the lack of empathy has set in, where the ego is completely running the show. If you're watching this video, that already is a first step, so congratulations. But we all have this moments at times when the ego takes over. And for some people, of course, it's chronically at a bad level, where that is how they are now, completely all the time with everyone. But for most of us, it creeps out now and again, where we find ourselves feeling insecure, feeling less than, just feeling that we need to be appreciated more, we want to be seen more. So to do that, we undermine other people, or we make other people feel less than, so that we can feel higher and more and above. So when that happens, it's just to keep our ego in check and remind ourselves that we are enough. No matter who is there, we are not in competition with other people, as much as it seems that way. And if you find yourself feeling jealous, feeling insecure, feeling less than, the best way is just to approach the person or the situation and find out how they got there, and what you can do for yourself to also just improve. But it is on us to be aware and to be conscious when our ego starts to creep up, and when it wants to be rude or put others down, so that we can feel better. So yeah, that is from the end of the people, or us, who dish out very negative and hurtful words. On the other side of the coin is, how do you handle when people speak very hurtfully, or when people are very mean or very rude? And sometimes the things people say that hurt us were not even intended to hurt us. The person was just maybe making a comment, making an observation, or they said something underhanded and it was a low blow, but to them, they really didn't intend to hurt us. They weren't saying it in a mean way. They weren't saying it as a low blow. They just said something, but to us, it really, it hit a nerve. So the first thing is, once again, self-introspection. You need to find out what triggers you, what are your shortcomings, what are your character setbacks that you need to work on. So you need to find that out for yourself first, so that when someone mentions something about you that you already don't like about yourself, it does not trigger you, because you know about it, you're aware, and you are working on it. So the biggest thing to shield us from getting hurt from other people's words is to know ourselves as much as we can. If you really know yourself, then if someone says something about you, it really won't hurt as much, or it won't hurt at all, because you know who you are, you know what you're aspiring to be, you know where you've come from. So their words will really not affect you as much. The other thing to prevent other people's words from really hurting us is to learn to stand up for ourselves. It's not easy, and it's not possible in all situations, because sometimes the person is an authority figure, or they're a boss, or we just don't want to cause chaos. So learning to stand up for ourselves is something that we must practice time and again. And there's also a way to do it. There's a time to do it. It has all those things about it. But slowly practicing to get your voice heard if someone says something that you don't like is something that we all need to learn and practice. Personally, I am still not there. I always just choose silence instead of violence. But I'm practicing, I'm learning. It's something that I really would love to see my future self have the ability to stand up for myself and be like, okay, I didn't like what you said, or I didn't like how you said it. Just to let the person know that you didn't appreciate what they said, or how they said it, and that's all. Sometimes you don't even want an apology. It's just to let it be known that you do not appreciate being talked to like that, and you are another person. That is the time you look around and you're like, who is this person talking to? But at the same time, ego check to make sure when we do stand up for ourselves, it's genuinely to stand up for ourselves, not to embarrass the other person, not to put the other person down. it is because we genuinely feel that our boundaries have been crossed, and there's something we want to say about that, so that it does not become a habit and it is not repeated. And the last one is also to learn to forgive. For us as humans, the worst thing we can ever have is a perfect memory. So just learn to let things go. People don't always mean what they say, and even if they do, sometimes they were just having their own issues, they're carrying their own baggage, and they choose to release it on you. So if you keep holding on to what people tell you, especially the negative things, then you now become the nest of negative emotions, and you'll just keep, elongating the chain. So learn to let things go as fast as possible. Do not carry it forward in terms of gossiping, in terms of, always reminding other people, oh, she said this, they said that. Let things go as fast as possible. Learn to forgive people, learn to forgive yourself as fast as possible, so that you can move on from whatever hurtful things were said to you. If you can remove yourself from that environment, please do. If you can let the person know that you don't appreciate them talking to you like that, yes. But at the same time, learn to forgive people, learn to forgive yourself, learn to let things go as fast as possible, so that hurtful words do not have a place in your heart, in your soul, in your mind. And yeah, that is it for today. So let us practice speaking as kindly as possible to people. It is not easy. We all have our moments of weakness, but do unto others. So speak unto others as you'd like to be spoken to. And thank you for watching yet another episode. If you like something, if you learned something, if you enjoyed yourself, kindly like, share, and subscribe. It'll be much appreciated. And see you guys on the next episode.